where the wild things are, if he has seen it. Okay. Well,
Yes. What do you
uh,
know what the last movie is for that was like that for us?
mhm. I'm trying to think.
You
What
did. I
was the
thought you
last?
said you did. That's what you said.
No,
I thought you
I'm just
said
asking.
yes.
I'm just asking I'm just reading the goddamn question.
Okay, I think the last movie.
I'm trying to think right now of where, what movie came out where there was a big backlash and
Well, there was a big backlash. I don't know if you can call it backlash, but for us and
I guess where audiences are split in the middle with
well,
the film.
audiences are split, and people on the site were
Hmm.
expecting us to come out and love the movie, and then when we
Hmm.
didn't, they just they turned against us. And the last
Damn.
movie that I can think of that was like that, I believe, was Watchmen.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. Well, I loved it. I was the only motherfucker who loved it. Come on, ass. I'm the only motherfucker who loved that movie. Yeah.
He's gonna make a video now. You got him going.
Oh shit.
But yeah, what we're experiencing with where the wild things are is that a lot of people saw the trailer, and like myself, a lot of people wanted to love this movie. And when we came out and said that, not that it was bad, not that we
Yeah.
hated it, we actually said the movie's good, it's just not great. And then we pointed out what was wrong with it. People took our criticism of pointing out what we thought was wrong with the movie just to make it an all right movie. They took that as
Right.
we don't like the movie, or we don't
Yeah.
understand the movie, or we're not.
You hate.
We're jaded because we don't. What was it? Because it's a hipster film and we don't like hipster movies. And it's just like, man, look, we gave it a matinee. We all gave
Yeah.
the movie a matinee. It's not bad. I mean, we can't help if we thought that the movie was boring in some parts. And furthermore, I think I'm speaking for everybody when I say this. Nobody's telling you that you cannot love the movie yourself.
Right. No, yeah, you're right. Because I noticed yeah, when you guys put out the review, yeah, you did get a backlash, and yeah, and I don't see why certain people will get so worked up. But then again, I thought, as far as the movie itself, I'm not gonna bore anyone with my review, but
No,
um,
please.
I thought it was I thought it was okay. You know,
Hmm.
there was nothing about that kid that really made me really feel for him at all. So I mean, when he's when he's pissed off and he's upset, I get that, okay, and I understand that. Yeah, he lost his dad. He has all these reasons, and then he visits this fantasy world, and there are these characters that are some kind of a representation of his feelings, and some of the and there's a one character reflecting that's reflective of his sister. I get that, and I understand where all that's coming from. But as a film as a whole, it didn't really do much for me. I mean, yeah, sure, I sympathize with the kid sometimes, but other times I was kind of annoyed by him. There was nothing really drawing me to really like this kid to begin with, and I thought that's where the movie kind of failed, at least on me.
Hmm.
Now, it was a beautiful movie to look at. The soundtrack was amazing. I want to own the soundtrack, but I mean, after watching the film, I was like, all right, that was good. But you know what? I kind of forgot about it as the night went on, and I didn't think too much of it. So to me, it didn't have a lasting effect on me like it did with some people, And no, I never. I read that book, or it was read to me a long time ago, and I barely remembered it because it was only about 5 pages, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, so when I took a look at the book again recently, I was like, wow, what is it about this book that seems to hit me? The message seems to hit me a lot more reading the book than it did in the movie. I was trying to figure that out. Um, but yeah, as far as the movie, it just didn't do much for me. I mean, like I said, it's beautiful to look at. The performances are great, even though there's times when the main character, the main beast, when he was off screen and yelling to look for that kid, I was like, man, what the fuck is Tony Soprano doing? Fucking running around looking for this kid, about to fuck up this kid. This movie's taking a whole different tone. What the hell?
Oh yeah,
In
you
my
thought
mind,
you
I was
thought you
like,
were gonna whack
Tony
that kid.
Soprano is looking to fucking put some holes in this kid.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
other than that, I mean, yeah, it didn't do that much for me. So I would give it a matinee. I have to agree with you guys. Um,
Yeah, it's funny because I see again. I think it's because we knew people were gonna love the movie so much that just
oh
the
yeah,
flaws kind of stuck out to. 'Cause, I mean, the things that were obvious about it were kind of obvious in the trailer. I mean, the music is great. The
Right.
creature effects we all agreed were fantastic. I love the casting of the characters. I love the approach that Spike Jonze took. Like I said, my only
Yeah.
complaint is that the movie was too long, and I thought it could have been a little more fun. I mean, I'm sorry, a lot of people took it as being shallow, and that we thought that we wanted this to just be just a flat out kids film. But man, it really did to me. It was just a little. That those boring parts in there were because the movie just could have for me just been a little bit more fun. I don't want
Yeah.
anything that deep with this movie because the book isn't that deep.
No, not at all.
That's all I'm asking for. And I had a different sense of the book than I did with the movie, and that's the only thing. I mean, I saw it as something completely different, and a lot of people also kind of upset that, like, I love the way people just kind of take everything and make one big blanket statement out of it without looking at the
Right.
details. They say, "Oh, you gave Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs
I know.
full price, but you give this a matinee." It's like they're two different movies, man.
Right.
There's a
Right.
different criteria for everything. You don't make a blanket criticism for everything. And yeah, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was a more entertaining movie than this, and I did not hate Where the Wild Things Are. I
Yeah.
thought it was a good film. And I think Spike Jonze took the right approach. I just thought like it was a few misguided steps there. So
Right. No, I agree. I mean, like I said, I mean, it definitely has some great, moments to look at, but the overall effect just, I guess what they wanted for me to feel in that, while watching that film, I just didn't get, it didn't hit me like it didn't strike a chord in me like it did with some other people,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
but
So,
that's my opinion, and it don't mean shit. So there you have it.
and that's exactly what we're saying, people. It's all opinions. I mean, just because we didn't give it something that you wanted us to doesn't mean that you cannot go and enjoy it. So,
Yeah. No, and I've recommended that movie to people. It's like, you know what? If you enjoyed that book, there's a good chance you're going to enjoy that movie. It's like, but I did say I don't think it's for everyone, but I think the people who watch and enjoy it are really going to get something out of it. As to where, if you don't really give a shit about the book and you just want to see a decent movie, maybe you'll think it's okay. But with me, it just didn't hit a chord with me. So.
yeah, no, and there was one other movie where people said it was going to be great, and we didn't think so. We've done it a couple of times. I can't remember what it is, but we've done it a couple of times. So people enjoy it. Don't nobody's telling you to listen to us, and we're not telling you to listen to us either.
No.
We do this to get our opinions out there and have fun. So fuck it,
Yeah.
If it ruined your day, sorry. But anyway, here's a question.
It's not my problem. Yeah,
it's-
go fucking live your life. Don't tell me about it.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Gotta love your attitude, man.
Yeah.
Here is an email from Hank Kleinberg, who says, let's see, a week or two ago, Corey and Carlisle mentioned the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You guys noted that it kept going between dark, mature, and deep, and lighthearted and goofy with those goddamn gargoyles. Well, and he says it's his favorite movies, but if he hates those gargoyles so much, why is it your favorite movie? Anyway, a problem that I also had with the movie. I'm sorry, that's part of why he hated the movie, because of the gargoyles. So he says, here's a question. How do you feel about movies that have big contrast in mood? And are there any cases in particular that you really loved or hated that? Thanks for the response. Love the show, and I hope my thoughts have a wonderful time getting fucked by you guys. And we're going to fuck this thought well right here, because that's a good question. There are examples of movies that can change tone and be effective. And then there are movies that can change tone and it's just lazy, or it feels like it's done by a person who's an inexperienced writer, or they just didn't think about it. We saw a movie recently that changed tones, and it wasn't for the best, and that was Law Abiding Citizen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that movie started
I didn't
out.
see that.
Well, it started out kind of serious. I mean, it started out with sort of a message about the judicial system and the flaws with it. It started out about what is justice. It started out about the ambiguity between how far a man will go to seek justice, and at what point does he become a villain and become the thing that he actually was going up against. I mean, it started out with some heavy themes. I mean, maybe they weren't meaning to, but that's kind of what you felt. And near the end of the, like almost halfway through, it turns into a ridiculous supervillain film. And it's like, all right,
Really?
you really had something going before, and that was cool, and then you just kind of screwed that. But then there's some movies where they start out as one thing, and then they end up another, and it can catch you by surprise. And it's very effective. Catch you by surprise in a good way. One movie for me like that is Audition. And we mentioned this movie several times, but that is one of the strongest contrasts in the films I've ever seen that actually worked.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about to say, it's like we did kind of answer this question before, but yeah, Audition. I always like saying From Dusk Till Dawn, only because if you had no clue about that movie, walking in, it starts off with this great, fucked up road adventure with these two serial killers, I guess, or I guess, well, one of them was just a fucking crazy wacko, and the other guy, had his head on his shoulders, and he was just a criminal. And as soon as it went, as soon as they ended up going to the titty bar, that's where it turned into a straight out B horror film. I think it'd be interesting for somebody to see that movie not knowing. I think that's kind of part of the fun. But if I don't know, if they made it, if it was a little bit better executed, I think that would have been a better film, I guess I should say.
Oh yeah, but, yeah, and I agree.
I love that they did that, only because I'm like, this is a great idea. Only if it was executed a little bit better, it could have been really great. But
yeah, and I agree with you on that. And the reason why I mentioned Audition is because the movie starts out like a romantic comedy, and it caught us off guard because it's from Japan.
Right.
And we went in not knowing what the movie was about at all. And it starts out like a romantic comedy, and then it ends up being a very creepy horror film. I mean,
it becomes a fucking brutal horror film.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so lighthearted at first, and then it starts getting just terrifyingly horrific. And when I was watching it, Leon and I looked at each other, and we were like, what the fuck just happened? It's like, is this the same movie? But we were drawn in so deep into it because we want to know where this was going to go. So yeah, it's that's one of those really effective movies that changes tone.
I love that. I love that movie. That movie is like somebody pulling the fucking rug from out under you, and there's a bed full of nails and fucking broken glass just waiting to hit you, and you're like, oh fuck, what the fuck? No, stop.
No, you fall face first into it.
Yeah.
Here's another thing it's an old movie that kind of changes tone, and it's an Alfred Hitchcock movie that did it very well. It's called Shadow of a Doubt. It starts out like a kind of a fun family comedy, very lighthearted in the way those movies were in that time. I think the movie was made 1940 something, 1930 something. I can't really remember the date on it, but
what was it called again?
It's called Shadow of a Doubt, and it's one of my favorite Hitchcock movies, and it deals with this family that they're a wholesome family, and like I said, when you sit on the family, the movie's very lighthearted, but then
that came out in 1943.
Okay,
I've never seen this.
You should see it because it's funny. I mean, it's a funny family comedy, and then it turns sinister when Joseph Cotten, who's an actor in a few Hitchcock movies, and also I think he was in a Orson Welles film. Anyway, cool actor. He shows up, and the movie turns sinister because this guy's bringing in a very dark secret, and it turns it turns very creepy because you begin to question when. For the time that this movie was made, they kind of cross over the lines of how appropriate is it that this guy who's coming into town is close with his I think it's his niece. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wonder how it's kind of creepy how into her he is, and then he just starts saying things at inappropriate times, and it becomes very uncomfortable. And it's a good movie. You should check that out, man. I think, especially you, I think you'd like it. But here we'll read. Depending on how this goes, we'll read one more, two more. Here's a good question from Phil.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil she has a very unique, Phil, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, the great artist.
Yeah, she's great.
And
you should check. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out her work, you should go to her page and see her stuff, which blows me away.
Yeah, she spells her name Feal, Phil. So yeah, you should check her out. Now, she heard us last week, or at least heard me going crazy because I was upset about some of the questions that were coming over, and she took a unique approach to asking us a few questions here. And she says, She said, I have during the years written a few fun or weird and short questions on another website in the form of polls that became popular. These are the kid-friendly ones. The nastier ones are here, and she gives us a website. I'd love to hear the nasty ones, but here's her questions. And she says, and the name of her email is, "In your lack of questions to rape." So we're gonna rape your mind, Phil. She's kind of cute too. I wouldn't mind raping her mind. Let's see.
Damn,
I said her mind, not her body.
Jesus.
I'd like to make.
Hey, her mind has feelings too. You know?
I'd like to make